I've always lived a healthy life. I never smoked a cigarette, drank any beer, took any drugs. I exercised on a daily basis and had a good job which I loved so much. And I had a family of my own as well. My life was good all around, and so I'm sure you will come to understand my anger and questioning nature as to why and how someone like me managed to get aggressive cancers all over my body. I mean, I always thought my other friends who constantly partook in unhealthy activities would catch some form of disease, or their lives would end soon in an unfriendly fashion. Life's a bitch, and then you die. That's the saying my old man used to say to me when he was around. I remember being in my hospital bed and room just waiting for death to take me into its mercy, and me questioning existence as a whole. Every job, friendship, everything I did in my life seems so pointless now because death is so frightening. I mean, just waiting for it is harrowing. I guess we're all waiting for death, but we fill the gaps between life and death with meaningless activities and objects. I'm going through a phase right now. Close journey to death, which is why I'm being like this and saying such dark things. I told my family and loved ones to all go home, because I just wanted to be alone right now. No one could possibly understand what is going through the mind of someone close to death. And it is a lonely experience. The loneliest experience anyone will ever have. I then remember falling asleep, and when I woke up, I found a cigarette in my mouth. And nobody else was in the room with me. I had no idea who put the cigarette in my mouth, but I felt stronger and amazing, actually. The cigarette was lit. I remember going out of my hospital room and just wandering through the corridors, smoking the cigarette which was placed in my mouth. Every minute I was smoking, I felt amazing, and I could feel something else dying within me. Every nurse and doctor telling me that I shouldn't smoke inside the hospital. And when I go outside, I finished my cigarette. I got back to my room. I found a packet of cigarettes on my hospital bed, and I was feeling physically strong and incredibly healthy. Then the nurses and doctors who told me I shouldn't smoke inside the hospital started to cough out blood and collapse onto the floor. The next day, rumors went around that some nurses and doctors had strangely gotten aggressive cancers all over their bodies. I felt good though, extremely good, and I told my doctor. When I got examined, a miracle had come to my ears. I was told my aggressive cancers had somehow just disappeared, and I could go home. I didn't tell anyone about waking up with a cigarette in my mouth, and coming back finding a pack of cigarettes on my bed. I was let go from the hospital the following day, and it felt amazing to be home and to feel alive once again. Nearly a month later, after socializing with my friends and just enjoying life, I could feel my cancers coming back. And I remembered the cigarettes. I mean, my miraculous cure started with a cigarette in my mouth, and so I got the pack given to me by some unknown stranger at the hospital, and I started smoking. Just one cigarette, though. I walked past a man walking his dog, and I started to feel strong again. But the man who walked past me and the dog both started to collapse onto the ground, coughing up blood. This same scenario happened when I walked past the nurses and doctors at the hospital while smoking. And then I thought, what if the cigarette doesn't cure my cancers, but passes it on to others, with them breathing in cigarette smoke in the air? Each cigarette cured me from cancer for about a month until I needed another one, where I would infect another individual. I tried smoking in secluded places where there was no one around, but I could see the smoke traveling through the air looking for someone. When I went home, I found my daughter, son, and wife all on the floor bleeding to death, and I phoned the ambulance. When they got to the hospital, they all had aggressive cancers all over their bodies. I will admit one thing though, that it did feel good to be surviving again. While the moment lasted, I'm on my last cigarette now, and I'm gonna smoke and enjoy my life one last time before my cancers come back, and I can die with my family. I mean, if I had more of the cigarettes, I would have given it to my family, but I could only hope the unknown stranger put another cigarette of mine in my family's dying mouths, because cigarettes are the only thing keeping me alive. Well, ladies and gentlemen, wasn't that a fantastic little creepypasta by Short Story 1 on Reddit? They're actually a subscriber to the channel and have been submitting me stories regularly, so I'm going to leave a link to it down below, and be sure to go give the author some love. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button, click subscribe, and the little bell so you can be notified when the next one pops up. Check out my short film, I Love You Jake, the Wendigo story, on my channel right now. And as always, my Darkness Militia, have a terrifying evening.